If you want more FIFA content from me, I'm now uploading exclusive videos to Patreon. The link for that is down below. And if you want to avoid the random lottery that is FIFA points, you can go straight to the source with u7buy.com. And of course, you can use the code TVM at checkout to get yourself a discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another video, another player review. This time we're going to do the upgraded Moi Gomez. Now, a lot of you may have this card, a lot of you may not. A lot of you may not even have the 86, the first card you get. But there is a reason I want to make this, because I wouldn't just make it for the sake of making it. I have all of the cards on one account or another, and you won't see videos for certain ones because some of them are just not that great. But Moi Gomez in particular stands out to me because with a chem style, and in this instance I've given him an artist, he actually does turn into a very high rated, very capable player. So from an 88 with a chem style to a 94 rated cam or a 92 rated centre mid, he kind of did play a little bit further forward for me in that sort of cam role. He did drop back into the centre mid role as well, but the good thing about this guy is the 5-star weak foot, the 4-star skills, and with the foot birthday cards, the flashbacks, the player moments, the team of the week moments cards that we've had recently, EA have put the emphasis on 5-star something or other. So whether it be 5-star skills or 5-star weak foot, and Moi Gomez matches up to that very, very well. Very capable player. There are certain stats here or there, in particular in the dribbling, that really do, on paper, let him down. But in game, it's a completely different story, especially when you apply that artist chem style. Now let's get into the in-game stats. 83 acceleration, 80 sprint speed, very good finishing across the board realistically for a centre mid. 87 positioning, 88 finishing, 85 shot power, 89 long shots. A lot of people praised Aaron Ramsey's player moments card because he has 90 shooting, even though he's a centre mid. And there isn't an awful lot of difference between that card and this card in terms of his shooting, because Moi Gomez has very good finishing, shot power, long shots. The thing that lets the overall down is volleys and penalties, which realistically you don't care about anyway. Moving on to the passing with a chem style, of course, 15 plus in vision, taking him to 99. Crossing is also 99. 98 short passing, up from 93. And the long passing up from 89 to 99 with 99 curve as well. Then we come on to the part where a lot of people might be put off by this card. He has relatively poor reactions and composure, but with that chem style has 99 agility, 95 balance, and then 99 ball control and dribbling. So on paper, yes, he lacks reactions and yes, he lacks composure, which you may think is a terrible combination to have for someone who's going to be on the ball a fair bit, maybe looking to create the chance up front. But honestly, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, if you have extremely high agility and then high dribbling and ball control, normally what you also need is pace. But on this instance, or in this instance I should say, you should get away with it. The reactions won't cost you too much. Now, the team I've got him in is not a bad team, actually. The two centre-backs, of course, are the objective players or milestone players. Of course, one of them, the Japanese centre-back, ended up moving out of the... I don't know whether I think he moved... He's still in the game, but I think he moved to the Japanese league. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they replaced him, or his upgrade, rather, with one of his former teammates from Toulouse. Now, he's actually a very good card. You may very well see a video on him at some point, but I won't be doing them on the German centre mid, for example, because I just don't think he's really good enough, even with his upgrade. Speaking of the upgrade, by the way, it was a considerable upgrade over the 86. The 86 went to an 88, and a lot of people criticised it because it was like the same with everyone, really, even like Trossard and everyone. They all went up by 2. EA didn't say, oh, well, we're going to boost the 88s at some point as well to like a 90. If they'd said that, then I could kind of get on board with it. But because they haven't said it, I'm kind of thinking, what a ball that is, by the way. And Dennis with some really nice control. And he probably should have done better there, to be fair. But that's kind of my fault for not just ball rolling the keeper. But there we are. Anyway, the significant upgrade is against what people would think. Because you'd see the 2 overall upgrade and you think to yourself, well, that's not really that much, but it's actually a significant one because it's gone up by 2 in pace, 4 in dribbling, 2 shooting, 2 passing, 5 defending, and then 2 physical. So he's up by quite a lot across the board, really. I think it's worth the grind to go from that 86 to the 88. To be fair, I quite liked the 86 when I first played with him. I don't think I did a video on him, but I think it's a decent card. But then to just play a few extra games, get a few extra wins, probably end up doing most of it when you do your La Liga icon swaps anyway, and especially if you try to sort of knock them off at the same time, you'd be able to do that quite easily, because you can't do one without doing the other so long as you've set the team up properly. Then I think it's definitely worth the grind in order to get this card. Like, on paper, there are definitely some underlying issues with regards to reactions and composure, but in-game, he has an awful lot going for him. Not the most agile of players, and definitely not the most of meta players, but still has a degree of maneuverability. I am throwing out words all over the place right now. So, yeah, you can move him fairly easily. He's not, like I said, the most agile of players, and his reactions are not necessarily like on point necessarily, but use the word necessarily. Go on, say it again. I think he's got a lot going for him. I do like this card. The reason I like him is because of the lean body type. He's 5'9", so relatively low center of gravity. Lean body type means that with that 90 agility without the chem style, and the 90 ball control again without the chem style, but 99 with the chem style for both, you can get an awful lot of maneuverability with this card. Like, he does, his left stick dribble, for example, does actually feel quite good, and his skills are quite nice to pop out every now and again as well. Like, you'll see that with certain amounts of players that I'm reviewing recently, you'll see that I do use a fair few skills, whether they be the sort of 5-star ball roll flick kind of skills, or whether they're just sort of drag backs, ball rolls, and heel to heel flicks. Whichever way you paint it, they are still skill moves, right? And I like to incorporate them whenever possible, because it just makes the game a little bit more fun, and the goals just look a little bit more interesting. Now, with Gomez, you can do that fairly regularly, but you do have to sort of wind it back in a little bit, because in my opinion, the card isn't meta. It's borderline. It is extremely, if there's such a thing as extreme borderline, then yeah, it's definitely borderline. So the reactions and the composure and the pace combination do drag it back to the point where I'm going to say, no, I don't think he is meta. But the lean body type, the fact that he's 5'9", and the fact that he has good agility and ball control is the other side of that coin. So, yeah, it's a close run thing. It really is. I mean, a lot of you may play with this guy and sort of think, well, hang on, no, I think he is meta, and that's up to you. You know, like I said, it is very borderline. There's an argument to be made for both, but I think it's sort of erring on the side of not quite. That's not to say that he's not usable. For the first time in the review, or the new review screen that I've been using for quite a few weeks now, I've got backup 11 where it says Foot Champs, or where the Foot Champs logo is. And the reason I've got that, and what that means, is I don't think he should be one of the first names in your starting 11 team sheet for the midfield, but I think that if you're running a, I don't know, backup squad, a fun squad, or a B team, or whatever it may be, or maybe you don't play the game that often to build up certain players. So, for instance, if you play the game a lot, chances are you've packed some decent stuff along the way, and you've got some decent cards. If you play the game a lot, maybe you've put FIFA points into it as well, you're going to have a pretty damn good team. But if you don't play the game that much, but you've just been knocking off a few objectives here or there, a few milestones, and you've managed to pick up this Gomez card, but the rest of your team isn't that great, or you've thrown everything into SBCs because you're addicted, I get that feeling, then, yeah, maybe this guy could actually fit in your starting 11. So there's definitely reasons why people would want to use this card and get him into the starting 11, and there's definitely going to be reasons why people would maybe want to leave him out. I don't think he's sort of super sub material. I don't think he can offer anything off the bench to change the game. I think he's a very solid midfield player. Whether you want to use him as a cam or a centre mid is entirely up to you. I would actually recommend using him as a cam. You get a little bit more out of him. The work rates, are a little bit irritating actually. Medium. Just, you have to kind of tell him to go forward, which is a little bit frustrating. The reactions on paper, definitely not great, as are the composure, and the fact that his pace isn't amazing does let him down in terms of his agility and his drag back ability and things like that. But more often than not, you will find that he's pretty responsive, and you can still have an awful lot of fun with him, and he is a very effective player. It's just a little bit of a shame that they didn't go a little bit more in the way of boosting those reactions and the composure, or even just give him a little bit more pace. Boosting this card up to 86 acceleration, 83 sprint speed would not have killed them, but unfortunately they've decided against it. But I think it's a very solid card for the fact that it's free. Yeah, time-consuming, sure, but definitely something nice and exciting to work towards, and will fit an awful lot of teams because of those links as well. Big fan of it, even if it isn't meta. If you have enjoyed today's review, do me a favour and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.